Hello, crafty friends. In today's card tutorial, I am going to be creating this handmade springtime card with these adorable ducklings. The products being used today will be linked down below in my video description and over on my blog, and it is a part of the Simon Says Stamp Rain or Shine brand new release. Now, here is a quick look at the products I'm going to be using today. I have the Snowbell Bouquet, the Darling Duckling, which is adorable, and then I think this is called Loving Thoughts stamp set, and I'll be using that for the sentiment. So the first thing that I'm going to do is some die cutting. So I'm bringing out my mini Intri-Cut Die Cut Machine from Gina K Designs. I love this because it's so handy and I can just set it on my desk and it just kind of tucks away in the corner because it folds up so nicely. So I picked out a light yellow cardstock and I'm going to die cut the main base piece of the duckling from this light yellow cardstock. I want to have a little family of ducklings, so I'm going to do that 2 more times. Now, also in this die set is this die. Now they're connected, but what it has on there is kind of a backer for the eyes, and it also has a beak and the feet. So I'm going to die cut that 3 times from this orange cardstock. Now, you may also notice that I do have a media grip mat underneath my mini Intricate die cut machine. So I use that media grip mat a lot, like when I'm gluing things together, because it's really easy to clean up. But I thought I'd bring it out and try it underneath my mini Intricate die cut machine. And it helps so my die cut machine isn't sliding around on my work surface. So that came in super handy. So I also took that die piece that has the feet and the beak and I die cut it from a black cardstock 3 times as well. Now I'm going to be doing some die cutting off screen because I needed my larger intricate die cut machine for some of these. So I'm doing the Snowbell Bouquet die set. I am die cutting all of the petals from a white cardstock, and then I'm going to do the stems from a green cardstock. And I believe this green, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm pretty sure it was from Gina K Designs. So I'm going to die cut those stems twice from this cardstock just so I have enough foliage for my background. Then I'm going to start adding some color to my ducklings. So they're really cute as is, but I really do enjoy adding ink blending around the edges of my die cuts. So starting with honey or starting with one of the ducklings, I'm using honey ink from Simon Says Stamp and a mini blending brush from Altenew. And I'm just going to go around the outer edges of the duckling. I'll do the same thing for all 3 of them. And off screen or kind of off on the side there that you can't see is I tapped off a lot of excess ink. So sometimes I'm picking it up from my work surface and sometimes I'll pick up the ink from the actual ink pad itself. Then I'm going to be adding some ink blending to my beak and also to the feet. Now, these got a little tricky because they are pretty tiny, but I didn't want to just kind of leave them flat on my image. So I am bringing in terracotta, and this is a micro blending brush. So I'm going very, very careful. You can see I actually came in a little too heavy handed. That terracotta really packs a punch. So I'm trying to go very light handed just from one side of the beak and then kind of have it fade out. And I did that for the other 2 beaks and also just adding a little bit of that color to the feet. Then once all of my ink blending is done and I kind of cleaned up my work surface a little bit, I'm going to start adhering my duckling together. So I'm taking that black piece and this is the backer for behind the head. So I'm going to give my duckling some black eyes and then add in some white gel highlights, but you could maybe do a light blue cardstock if you wanted to give it blue eyes or even white and then add in your own color, maybe with some fine tip pens. So I just added some glue behind the head and attached the black piece. And then I'm going to add the beak. So there are indentations on the cardstock that's going to show you exactly where that beak lines up. And then for the feet, you can see it's kind of an odd shape, but that's because it is die cut in the shape of the bottom of the duckling. So it's very easy to match that up and get that placed just right. Then I'll come in with a white gel pen and just add a couple little dots. I have one that's a big dot, one that's a little dot that I add to each of the eyes. And notice that once again, I'm using that media grip mat. These actually come in a large roll and I just trim it down and I use it for ink blending. You can see it kind of holds my cardstock in place. I also use it for gluing because it's easy to clean up and I don't have glue stuck to my work surface. And it came in really handy when I was using the mini intricate die cut machine. So here I'm bringing in those white petals and I am using sea glass ink from Gina K Designs. And once again, just kind of this mini blending brush. And I'm starting at the top, so kind of where that I don't kind of a cone shape is. So that top part is not going to be seen. Once I start layering these up together, you're not going to see a lot of that blue. It's going to go underneath the green portion that you'll see in a minute. So I just wanted to have a little bit of blue there to give it a little bit of color and dimension. These reminded me so much of just some little flowers that are around ponds, so I thought it matched really well to have them paired with the ducklings. Now, once I have a few of those flowers put together, I'm adding liquid glue over the top, and then I'm going to place my stem over that. So you can see the green is hiding a lot of that blue. The blue is just kind of helping it stand out a little bit so it doesn't look so flat. The stems, I really didn't add any ink blending to because they are so skinny and so fine that I figured it'd be pretty difficult. What I could have done is die cut them from two different shades of green, and that would have helped give me a little bit of contrast between them. But I think it still worked out pretty good. Now I'm going to work on creating a scene, and I really wanted to go just kind of nice, clean, and simple. I didn't want anything too crazy for my background, so I am just going to do some soft ink blending. I am starting out with a sea glass ink on one side. I'm going to blend it about halfway down, and then I'm going to clean up my work surface real quick, remove any of that excess ink, and I am going to add a lucky clover on the other end. And I am trying out some blending brushes. These have been out for quite a while. They're from Trinity Stamps. They're kind of I don't want to say flat, they're kind of rounded at the bottom, but they were just a really nice size for some small backgrounds like this. So I only have about three of them. I was giving them a try, and they worked really well for that soft background. I'm going to stamp a sentiment. This is off of the Loving Thoughts stamp set. Of course, any sentiment would work here. I just really enjoyed the script on this one and also the size of it. So I stamped that in the Versafine Nocturne ink. I had die cut it out with its coordinating die, and now I'm just kind of building up my flowers for the background. So some of the leaves I attached right to the stem of the flowers, and I'm going to attach the flowers directly to the background. Again, they're pretty skinny, so it was kind of hard to build up the dimension. I could have probably die cut another layer to build it up, but I like them kind of, I hate to say flat, but I like them directly adhered to the background. And then that way my ducklings can pop off the front with some additional foam squares. I'm going to build in the leaves around there, and I thought I had some more and I could not find them. I find them at the end of the video here, but I added in a few leaves, and now I lined up my ducklings, and these guys look just adorable on the front of a card. So because some of them are going to overlap my stems, I'm adding thin foam squares to one side of them and then liquid glue to the other. So it becomes out pretty flush with the greenery in the background. Now, this little guy, he is going to overlap his sibling or her sibling. And so I just added the thin foam squares to one side and liquid glue to the other. And the same thing for this last little guy that's going to be kind of down in the corner. Now, once I have my little trio attached, I am going to add a liquid glue to the back of my sentiment and add that directly to the card front. So when I did the sentiment, I also die cut an extra piece from that coordinating die and lined it up behind there just to give it a little bit of lift. Now, here as I was cleaning up, I found my extra leaves. So I'm just going to tuck a few more in there to fill in the background. Now, I am using this as a springtime greetings card, but of course, you could change the sentiment on this and use it for any occasion because these ducklings are adorable and are sure to make someone's day. And again, I will have all of the supplies that I'm using today linked down below in the video description and over on my blog. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you again real soon.